Hello and welcome back to Shadow of Mordor, and in this part we will be continuing on after we have just finished the Spirit of Mordor and unlocked pieces and parts to the Nemesis system. Now, I will not be getting any rune upgrades for the sword, dagger, or bow sets, specifically because they're good, but they're all like percentage. They're all percentage recoveries based on doing very specific actions. And honestly, a majority of those actions I don't end up doing, like doing kills while riding Karagor, or doing stealth kills, or there are specific ones that I could easily gain some pretty big benefits from, but I don't end up getting a lot of the better runes that I would want in order to exploit them.
In games like this, there are usually like one mode of upgrades that, as long as you get all the other ones, you should be okay. For example, get headshots. You never need to upgrade your bow power.
That's mostly true. I mean, there are certain captains and war chiefs that don't get one shot by headshots. So for those, you want to increase your headshot damage, but let's be honest. For captains and war chiefs, going in with varied melee tech is usually significantly better than attempting to just take them out at range. Fuck you, camera.
Now let's talk about wall climbing for a second, especially while we're watching orcs, comically fall out of windows. How much control do you have over, you go, because there are pathways straight up a building. There are also side-to-side movements you can make. Like, does it feel like the game organizes its walls well?
For the most part. There are specific buildings that it can be very difficult to fully scale, but that's because of specific things on the building, like either cloth or leather, or like obstacles like that you can't unnecessarily grip all that well. Yay, finished the hunting of spiders.
But just like Assassin's Creed, if you are meant to scale the building, then a pathway indeed exists.
Yes. Matter of fact, a majority of the buildings in the game can be climbed pretty much however you want.
And speaking of climbing buildings, I imagine much of this time we will be looking down on the orcs from above.
Yes and no. I actually spend about 50-50, honestly.
Kind of like how Ed from Shaun of the Dead tells us that dogs can't look up. Neither can orcs.
Dogs can totally look up, though, just not that well. Luga the Thunderer.
So when are we going to see the screen where, it's kind of like, oh, very cool. So when are we going to see, nice, okay, so those were two executions I wanted to see, so much so that I almost lost my train of thought. I was going to say, eventually we are going to see kind of like a Witcher 3 moment where, you're basically holding you're holding the orc's head in a trance, but it's actually like a... It's actually like a moment in time that's stretched out for as long as you haven't made a decision yet.
Actually, we just had that moment, and I gained intel from that orc.
Well, it didn't look like you made a decision. It looked like the game did it automatically.
Yeah, because I did it too fast. But right now, I don't actually have access to make multiple decisions. Right now, it's either gain intel or kill orc. And unfortunately, the other half of this decision-making progress doesn't happen until more than halfway through the game.
Is that where you get to, subjugate the orc?
Well, we already... That's right, no, we don't have subjugation yet. Yeah, once you have the ability to subjugate the orcs to your will, then you will get those choices.
Nice. Subjugation is good.
Yeah, subjugation is, the moral gray area of this game. I mean, the orcs are supposedly clearly evil, but, there's a whole cracked video on why the orcs are actually the good guys.
And cracked. They put up many videos. Leads me to believe that sensationalism trumps actual authenticity.
Almost, except then you have to remember that crack no longer exists.
What? I just saw some videos they had at 735k thousand views or some shit.
Oh, really?
Are they shut down?
Well, more than I believe it was approximately 90% of their staff is gone.
I guess you
Now,
could
what I was
say
supposed
that.
to do with that patrol is shoot the Morgai flies down and actually kill them off, but I didn't do that because I want to save up my ammo for the event that's coming up here.
It does not say break up squad. It says follow Gollum's bod. E.
We shows him, and he rewards us.
Gollum has a song for us.
Gollum is the only character in the Lord of the Rings universe who does not develop like at all.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that you can call his arc into Smeagol during Two Towers development.
Right. When he was Smeagol, but Gollum himself does not develop as a character in the slightest. He is perpetually obsessed with the ring.
Yeah. Mind you, I'm okay with that because, it is a physical representation of how obsession and specifically drug abuse can mortally damage an otherwise decent individual.
What is it? Is that a fact that it's supposed to be a reference to drug abuse?
Hey, according to Death of the Author, if I want it to be, it can be. So there.
Ah. So the way that we can apply these lessons become our sources of wisdom. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Now, we are attempting to find the vision artifact here, but first we have to go get that tower. That way we can fast travel to this point later when we need to.
Alright, follow the trail of blue farts, and we will discover the knowledge we need in order to find the fart bag that is the source.
Well, no, not the fart bag. Specifically, we're looking for, I believe it's the wraith's tiara.
Ding! Slow motion and anvil hammer.
These Eldar towers ascend from beyond the past.
From beyond the past. Yes, that totally makes sense.
We're gonna find this elf lord, the dude who was supposed to, have actually summoned because they killed my wife in order to do it, but it wasn't even what they needed, so I'm like, well...
No. As we will find out later, the summoning ritual totally worked. It's just that, the wraith went into Talion's body instead of, the body of the Black Hand.
Is that a spoiler?
That is a spoiler, but it's a slight spoiler. It's one that, it'll become blatantly obvious later.
Right. Later. Because timing is the essence of the spoiler.
Apparently, the wraith was a master smith, an elvish master smith.
Oh, okay. So now we're starting to get the clues.
Hi, Sauron.
Wait, that is Sauron?
Yes. One of the things that you never get actually explained during the movies is that Sauron was an elf.
Yeah, I mean, in all the movies, Sauron never even had a face.
Right.
He was just some dude
it is
with a
actually
helmet.
rather canon that Sauron was an elf before he became the Dark Lord. Now, I'm not sure if that's the wraith's tiara or if it's wife's. I assume it's his, but I'm more inclined to believe it's his wife's.
Why do we chase these dreams? They offer no answers, only more questions.
These are not mere dreams. With each vision, my power grows stronger.
As we'll be showing off here.
Rangers should go now. Very dangerous here. We wait at the should tower for him.
But Gollum, what's here? Ghouls!
Zombies!
Not zombies, ghouls. Ghouls are totally different in the Lord of the Rings universe. Now, the smaller ghouls you can one-shot with any of your melee or ranged attacks. Any of them.
Jesus Christ.
However, they can gang up on you and deal quite a bit of damage.
Yeah.
What I wanted to try here is to see if I could actually just melee them all away, but no. What we're supposed to do here is show off Wraith Flash.
Yep, when they get...
Which does, in fact, one-shot all of them.
So make sure to get plenty of them around you, and then boom, explosion.
Or you can do this. Waiting, waiting, waiting. I guess they're not coming out anymore. Fully charged shot. Fiery explosion.
Damn, brother. What? Jesus, you just killed 44 of them with one shot.
49, but yeah.
To the Black Hand the first chance he gets.
He has no love for the Dark Lord. That creature has a part to play in the fate of all Middle-earth. I can feel it.
Now I will be going after some of the bow, dagger, and sword challenges, but again, I'm not actually upgrading them with runes. I'm doing this mostly for experience, to be perfectly honest, so that I can get additional perk points. This one is kill 5 orcs with arrows at close range. It doesn't really specify what close range is, but just but as long as you're moving towards them, it should be. We missed. There's that, and missed.
Missed.
Wraith Drain.
All right, and then shoot him in the face.
Damn it!
Alright, and everybody's moving too fast.
Got him.
Nice. The range of vengeance.
And one of our first actual melee combat segments.
Yes.
Execute.
Nitty gritty, rain time, everything's drizzling, battle. May all their blood be washed away by the waters.
And ground execute. Normal execute.
Yeah, run the sword through them. That's got to be one of my favorite ways of that's got to be one of my favorite executions of all time, is just run your fucking sword right through his heart. Or really any part of his body. He probably will die of bleeding.
And there we go. The usual indicator that shows that you're done with the combat section is when, he sheathes his sword again. Getting more health shot and more focus. Focus is honestly much more important than health in this game, because there are rather specific runes that allow you to restore health on certain actions. So health is honestly not really that big of a deal. But focus does not regenerate in combat very quickly. So the more the higher your base focus is, the more you can get away with just doing elf shots.
Interesting.
Here we're gaining just an orc name as opposed to actual intel.
Hoorah!
Hoorah the tracker.
After you stab him in the face, do you really have to cut off his head?
Depends. If he comes back, he'll actually have a neck brace.
Yeah, and then he'll get a nickname. His Uruk nickname is Two Mouths.
I don't think it would actually end up being Two Mouths. It'll be more like either Relentless or
Undying.
Undying. Here I'm showing off the upgrade that we just got, Elven Swiftness, which allows you to gain a short burst of speed after you do a minor feat of agility.
Nice.
The One Truth, which will be next mission.